Hi there, this is Sasha Sabbath. Have you ever thought about what freedom and internal freedom really consists of? And have you wondered what constitutes external freedom when we see so much change, so much challenge, so much questioning, so much chaos, so much confrontation all around freedom? Well, today's tip is called Soul Aligned Freedom Friday, and we're going to tackle that question of freedom. Soul aligned, meaning that it's coming from a higher law, a higher realm of variables, values, desired outcomes, and commitments. The purpose of today's video tip really has to do with showing the connection between one's inner world of thoughts and feelings, beliefs, expectations, and what shows up in a person's outer world. Now, what does this have to do with entrepreneurs? Those of you who don't know me, I am the intuition success strategist and healer for entrepreneurs, where soul aligned success and healing meet at the intersection of intuition and democracy for an uplifted humanity. And where I'm focusing today is how do we impact the right and the experience of freedom, both in our businesses and in our personal life, which we do our part to then influence our outer world, our environment. I'd like to focus today's tip on two particular arenas: the arena of one's character and the arena of discernment. And again, where I'm headed with all this is the ability to have greater inner freedom, which then translates through our actions, which then produces in the outer world the evidence of greater freedom. So if we were to look, let's say, at the business world and who we are as entrepreneurs and what it is that we have to do as entrepreneurs to get the results we want sales, we want mission impact, we want contribution, we want to be self-regulated, self-managed, self-inspired, so that we're productive, so that we're effective, so that we land in our numbers, and we also show up as the professional that we want to be seen as, and that we really are, meaning we walk our talk. And where we might find that the freedom element gets curtailed is when we are confused about what is our right, what is our holding pattern that keeps us from doing the things that we know we could do, should do, would do, where freedom is either cinched off, squeezed, stopped in its tracks, or not even an issue, not even a consideration. My desire for this particular tip is that you get a better sense of where you're holding yourself hostage, where you are holding yourself in a compromised perspective, where you just don't believe that perhaps some part of your actions, behaviors, habits, expectations, health, relationships, productivity, all of that is needing to have more expansion, more breathing space, more freedom to be, freedom to be expressed, freedom to be explored, freedom to take action on your divinely inspired creative ideas. Now, I'm throwing a lot at you because where I'm wanting us to really focus is to look inside and find out in truth where we do not allow ourselves to have freedom. I mentioned in the business world having to do with, offers and perhaps sales conversations, where there we are in the middle of a sales conversation and we put the brakes on when we really shouldn't, where we put the brakes on because we didn't give ourselves the freedom to just be honest, or to really admit to yourself that what you have is of value. And if that person isn't the right fit, that you have the freedom to recognize that not everybody is the right fit for your products and services. And so to review and reflect upon how you put yourself in a cage, put yourself in a locked psychic space, so to speak, and what can you do to get out the key, put the key in the lock, turn that key, and walk through into greater freedom. Where I talked about character and discernment, here is where I think that if you were to put some attention, you might feel some greater freedom. Freedom to be, as I said, freedom to express, and therefore freedom to allow others to do what they're going to do, but you give yourselves the freedom to choose if you want to be around what they do. And that has to do with discernment. So let's take character first. Where I'm focusing on character has to do with you trusting yourself, trusting that you are a trustworthy person whose character can be trusted. When you know that deep, deep, deep in your heart and in your soul, there is freedom. It's a sense of freedom to say yes and no. It's a sense of freedom to allow others to play out what they need to play out, but because you know your character, you know what you are intentionally attempting to live, to do, to offer, to produce, you know that in your heart of hearts, there is a freedom to just relax, observe, interact, make your decisions, call forth from your intuition your creative ideas, launch those creative ideas with freedom, and then just watch and wait and see what happens. It's when people do not think that they are worthy, when they do not trust themselves for some reason, when they aren't sure that they are a character, a personality, a character that could be able to elicit from the outer world trust. If that is the case, then that is a good place for you to start, is to get to work on your character. Because if you do not trust who you are, and if you do not have evidence, proof that you produce for yourself, not just the outer world, but you produce for yourself, that you are a person of character, of quality, of trustworthiness. If you don't get to that place, then everything else becomes like a house of cards. And the strongest wind will blow you over. Whatever that wind is, it could be disapproval, it could be trying to accomplish something that's too big of a leap. Whatever might be that wind, unless you have a good grip on your analysis, reflection of your character, then it does not provide for you the courage and the conviction and the commitment to do the things you want to do. So do you see the equation? To have a trusted, reliable sense of self, your character allows you to ride the waves, get knocked down, rise up, keep going, and just observe what your life is calling you to do. Now, it also has to do with what you observe around you. And I'm going to be adamant, New Yorker in me, when I say that it is time now, 2024, here in the United States, to really analyze, observe other people's character. And for you to decide what is the environment that you want to live in. both in business and just in living life in your in your city, your state, your country, whatever. What is the character influence that you want to be at the effect of? What is the character influence that you feel you can thrive within, and where you know that it is stifling you, oppressing you, having you feel that you are less than, or that you cannot achieve the quality of life that you want, the success in your business that you want? So to look at the ripple effect of the characters that you will be at the effect of at some point, whether it's right there in the middle of your life, like, family or friends or a boss or a client or a partnership, whatever. Or it could be the city and the state and the country that you're living in, and what are the influences that are dominant there. The whole point here is for you to know deep in your being that you can choose. And how you can choose is the beautiful divine journey that only you and your connection to your God source can lead you. Character, where you can trust yourself. Character, where you can be honest and assess the influences that you are at the effect of other people's character. Now, all of this has to do with business as well, because if you're in an oppressed or a depressed or a fearful or a contracted or an insecure or an unhappy place, that's kind of an interesting set of circumstances to then go out and, with joy and optimism and creativity, run your business. It's tough. It can be done, especially if you know how to manage your moods and your beliefs and your energy field. However, it takes a little more work. So I say, as the tip for this particular part of the message, is for you to start analyzing your character and the characters that surround you. And then use your intuition and ask yourself this question: what can I do next to have greater freedom when it comes to character? What can I do next so that I can get clearer about how character is affecting my habits, my motivation, my ability to be inspired from my intuition, and my ability to even want to get out there and do life? So that's tip number one, having to do with character, predominantly pertaining to your business. Now, in terms of your personal life, if you're in a relationship, if you're in an environment, just personally, not necessarily business, you know that observing how you feel free to be who you are is going to be of a premium focus. And if you notice and you are willing to admit it to yourself that you are being stifled, censored, shut down, scared, disrespected, that's going to have a toll. That's going to take a toll on your ability to really be the character that you are. And you're going to have to do something at some point, because somehow, somewhere, the brakes are going to come on, and your life is going to reflect that you're not moving as the person that you know you are, doing the things that in your heart of hearts you want to do. So that is what I want to say on the personal front. Now let's talk about discernment. Discernment brings up as a partner doubt and certainty. So when you're looking at being discerning, there will be on one side of the coin certainty that what you're seeing, hearing, feeling is what it is. Doubt is where you are observing with your senses both your psychic senses and your physical senses, hearing, seeing, feeling, tasting, touching. And in the inner world, it's clairvoyance, clairaudience, claircognizance, etc. If you are observing with your senses that something is true, however, there's some sort of messaging, some sort of projected, the word I'm looking for is assertion, that things are not what they seem, then you must give yourself the gift, give yourself the freedom to be discerning. Now, you might have to choose your timing, but I'm only concerned about you being discerning with yourself, where you know the truth, where you know what your experience is, where you know what the facts are, where you know if something is right or wrong for you or in general. Meaning, if there's a message that's coming out, like for instance, if you have a mentor, a coach, a consultant, a teacher who is asserting that their product and service really is going to produce X, Y, and Z. However, something inside of you has you notice that that's not quite what you believe is real. Be discerning, do your research. Now, that might sound like, of course, Sasha, of course I'm going to do my research, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in the moment when life is coming at you real fast and you have to make a choice, let's say. You have to move forward for whatever reason. What I'm suggesting is remember this word discernment. Remember this word freedom. And see if you can buy yourself time so that you can do the research, where you use both your intuition and your analyzer rational mind, so that when you come to a decision, when you are observing something in business and in your personal life, you have built up within you a wealth of evidence that tells you, yes, I am certain, or yes, I do doubt this. And then it's up to you to dive in and get yourself to a place of certainty. And it might mean you have to go outside your comfort zone. It might mean that you have to expand your reach of what you're going to listen to, what you're going to try out, what you're going to see as a priority, what you're going to see should be delegated to later on in your life. All of this will be factors of discernment, because at the end of the day, what we're after is for you to know what you want, know what it's going to take for you to get there, remove the blocks so that you can give yourself a chance to get there, and become the person who is so solid within yourself and the people that you allow to influence you and surround you, that you have all of this in place so that you win. And with that, there is great freedom. You can breathe. You can trust that you are moving in the direction as quickly as divinely led, so that you can have the impact that you want, have the lifestyle that you want, and be the great contribution that you want to be. Discernment, again, is the certainty versus doubt configuration for you to give yourself permission and the time to do your due diligence and see what's there. Freedom Friday, Freedom Friday, freedom for you to allow yourself to reflect, strategize, and claim who you want to be, why you want to be that person, what do you want to do as that person, and what is it going to take for you to remove whatever is standing in your way. Now that brings me to my invitation to you. And for those of you who've been watching my videos, you know that right now I'm doing a intuition market research campaign. I'm getting ready to launch at the beginning of February another iteration of my signature course, Unleash Your Intuition for Entrepreneurs. Confidently use your intuition for a thriving business and life. I have calls that I'm doing with people where I ask a few questions that are really, really targeted, where you will come away from that call knowing a much more keener sense of your communication style with your intuition, what you need to feel more confident about your intuition, and what kind of fears, what kind of challenges you face in accessing your intuition. It will help me to get feedback from you because things are very different now in this country and in the world. And having a relationship with your intuition requires a little more. And I'd like to hear your feedback about what your little more looks like. And I will then go to my course curriculum, tweak it up, edit it, do whatever I feel is appropriate so that my course in February is really going to have the impact that I want it to have. So if you are interested in that, in having an intuition market research call, we're going to do it on Zoom. It'll be about 30 minutes, something like that. And then we'll go and see how your input is able to be integrated into the vision of what it is that I want to do. Sorry about my phone. Now, the last thing is how to reach me. So please go ahead. If you're interested in a market research call, just put in this thread. If you're watching this on Facebook, put in the thread #me. If you're seeing this on YouTube, then go ahead and email me with the subject line market research when you send me the email. And if you are watching this video through an email that I've sent you on my list, do the same thing. Just go ahead and hit reply, put in the subject line market research, and I'll get back in touch with you. Give yourself the gift to be free. There's no other way to say it. Love yourself, take care of yourself, and God bless. Bye for now. Turning this off. There we go. Bye.